First contact and humiliation. The stars stretched like diamonds, scattered across black velvet, as Earth's first interstellar vessel, the UES Horizon, dropped out of fold space. Captain Elena Rodriguez gripped the command chair's armrest, her knuckles white with anticipation. After 50 years of development, humanity was finally ready to take its place among the stars. "Fold complete, Captain," announced Lieutenant Jake Morrison from the navigation station. His young face glowed with pride. "We've arrived at the coordinates provided by the Galactic Assembly." Elena stood, smoothing her crisp blue uniform. "All stations report." "Engineering reports all systems nominal," called Chief Engineer Sarah Cooper, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. The 4D fold drive performed beautifully. Energy consumption was within projected parameters. "Communications are picking up multiple signals," added Communications Officer Robert Lee. "The translator matrix is working. We're being hailed." Elena's heart raced. This was it. First contact. The moment humanity had dreamed of for centuries. Put it through. A melodious voice filled the bridge, speaking perfect English. "Earth vessel, this is Assembly Traffic Control. You are cleared for approach to docking ring 773. Please follow the guide beacons." Blue lights appeared in space, forming a path toward an enormous structure that defied human engineering comprehension. The assembly station was a massive sphere, easily the size of Earth's moon, covered in crystalline spires that caught and reflected starlight in impossible patterns. Hundreds of ships swarmed around it like insects around a hive. "My God," whispered Dr. Nathan Williams, the mission's lead scientist. "Look at those ships. Some are using propulsion systems I can't even identify." Elena noticed it too. While the Horizon was humanity's greatest achievement, a sleek vessel of polished metal and clean lines, it looked almost primitive compared to the alien craft. Some ships seemed to be made of living crystal. Others appeared to phase in and out of reality. A few were surrounded by halos of energy that bent space itself. "Steady as she goes, Jake," Elena ordered. "Let's make a good first impression." As they docked, the crew prepared for their historic meeting. Elena had chosen her team carefully. Besides her bridge crew, she brought Ambassador Michael Harrison, a veteran diplomat who'd negotiated peace treaties across Earth, and Security Chief Lisa Park, a former Special Forces commander. The airlock cycled open, revealing their welcoming committee. Elena had prepared herself for anything, but the sight still took her breath away. 3 beings stood waiting. The first resembled a humanoid made of shifting light, its features constantly changing. The second was insectoid, with compound eyes and delicate wings folded against its back. The third looked almost human, except for its silver skin and eyes that held the depth of space itself. "Welcome to the Galactic Assembly," said the silver-skinned being. Its voice was pleasant, but carried an undertone Elena couldn't identify. "I am Secondary Coordinator Vex. This is Administrative Liaison Stek," it gestured to the insect, "and Junior Greeter Luminous," the light being pulsed in acknowledgement. Elena stepped forward. "I am Captain Elena Rodriguez of Earth. On behalf of humanity, we're honored to finally join the galactic community." Vex's expression didn't change. "Yes, well, we typically send our primary coordinators for significant new members, but for developing civilizations like yours, secondary staff is deemed sufficient." The insectoid Stek made a sound that the translator converted to laughter. "Developing is generous. Did they really come here using 4D folding? How quaint." Elena felt heat rise in her cheeks but kept her diplomatic smile. "Our scientists worked for decades to perfect the technology. We're quite proud of it." "I'm sure you are," Luminous pulsed, its tone patronizing. "My species abandoned 4D folding approximately 12,000 years ago. But don't worry, everyone starts somewhere." Ambassador Harrison stepped forward, his decades of experience keeping his face neutral. "We're eager to learn from advanced civilizations like yours." The invitation spoke of membership in the assembly. Vex's lips curved in what might have been amusement. The invitation is a standard notification sent to any species that achieves basic fold capability. It's not a membership offer. You're here as provisional observers. Provisional observers. Elena couldn't hide her surprise. Of course, Ztek chittered. Full membership requires demonstrating certain technological and social benchmarks. Your species is, well, you've only just learned to fold space. You haven't even achieved consciousness transference, quantum communication, or dimensional parsing. They were led through corridors that defied geometry, past aliens who barely glanced at them. When other beings did notice the humans, their reactions ranged from amused to dismissive. Elena heard whispers in translated fragments. The new primitives, still using chemical propulsion as backup. Their ship doesn't even have reality anchors. Their quarters were small and located in what was clearly the station's least desirable section. The view showed the station's waste processing systems instead of the stars. That evening, they attended their first assembly session. The main chamber was vast, filled with thousands of beings from across the galaxy. The humans were seated in the very back, behind a pillar that partially blocked their view. High Commissioner Altair, a being of pure energy, addressed the assembly. Today we review technological classifications for member species. Species after species was called. The Vorthan Collective demonstrated their 6D folding technology. The ethereal minds showed how they could exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The crystal shapers literally created matter from thought. Finally, Earth was mentioned. The humans of Sol II have achieved basic 4D folding, announced Altair. The chamber filled with what the translator identified as laughter from a dozen different species. A serpentine alien near them turned to Elena. 4D folding. My hatchlings play with 4D mathematics as a basic learning exercise. Don't feel too bad. In a few thousand years, you might catch up to where we were in our Bronze Age. Dr. Williams leaned over to Elena, whispering, "They're all using technologies that seem to violate our understanding of physics. The power requirements alone should be impossible. Unless they know something we don't," Elena murmured back. The session continued with discussions of trade routes, resource allocations, and territorial disputes. Earth wasn't consulted on any matter. When Ambassador Harrison tried to speak during a discussion about colony rights, he was politely but firmly told that provisional observers couldn't address the assembly. Back in their quarters, the mood was grim. "They're treating us like children," Lisa Park said, pacing angrily. "Worse than children. Like pets who've learned a cute trick." "The technological gap is larger than we imagined," Dr. Williams added, reviewing his scanner data. "But something doesn't add up. The energy signatures I'm reading suggest their technologies shouldn't work according to our physics models." Elena stared out at the waste processing systems, her reflection overlay with the mechanical ugliness. Earth had sent them here as proud explorers, humanity's bold representatives to the galaxy. Instead, they discovered they were the cosmic equivalent of a backwards tribe that had just invented the wheel while everyone else was driving starships. "We need to report this to Earth Command," she decided. "They need to know what we're really facing out here." As she composed her message, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that humanity's dreams of joining the galactic community were crumbling before they'd even begun. The galaxy wasn't welcoming them with open arms. It was laughing at them. Little did she know that on Earth, in secret facilities hidden beneath mountains and deserts, scientists were working on something that would soon wipe the smirks off every alien face in the galaxy. The laughter wouldn't last much longer. The hidden truth. Deep beneath Mount Fuji, in a facility that didn't exist on any map, Dr. James Chen stood before a wall of holographic displays. The underground complex stretched for miles, carved from solid rock and shielded by technology that made it invisible to any known scanning method. This was Project Transcendence, Earth's most closely guarded secret. "Run the calculations again," James ordered his team. Around him, 50 of Earth's brightest minds worked in perfect synchronization. "We need to be absolutely certain before the next test." Dr. Ananya Sharma, The lead quantum physicist looked up from her workstation. James, we've run them 30 times. The math is solid. 7-dimensional folding isn't just possible. We've done it. On the main screen, footage played from the Horizon's mission to the Galactic Assembly. James watched Captain Rodriguez and her crew endure the aliens' mockery, their condescending laughter echoing through the speakers. His jaw tightened. "They have no idea," said Commander Maya Patel, entering the lab. She wore a specialized suit covered in sensors, her body still adjusting from the morning's test. "While they're laughing at our 4D folding, we're already manipulating reality at the quantum level." James turned to her. "How are you feeling after this morning's dimensional shift?" Maya flexed her fingers, watching them with wonder. "Like I exist in multiple places at once. During the test, I could perceive every possible position I could occupy simultaneously. It's indescribable." The technology they'd developed went far beyond simple space folding. By manipulating 7 dimensions, they could make matter exist in multiple locations simultaneously. A ship using this technology wouldn't just travel faster than light. It could be in several places at once, each instance as real as the others. "Show them," James said to his team. The main hologram shifted, displaying a star map of the local galaxy. A single point of light representing Earth pulsed at the center. Then suddenly, that point split into dozens, then hundreds of lights, spreading across the galaxy in an instant. "With 7D technology," Ananya explained, "one ship becomes a fleet. A fleet becomes an armada. We don't just travel through space, we transcend it." General Patricia Walker, the military liaison for Project Transcendence, stepped out of the shadows. She'd been watching silently, as was her way. "The question is timing. When do we reveal this capability?" James pulled up another display, showing intelligence reports from various sources. "The assembly is already moving to contain us. Our spies report they're planning to declare Earth a protected world, which means imprisoned. They want to lock us in our solar system permanently." "How long do we have?" Walker asked. 3 weeks, maybe less. They're already positioning ships." In another part of the facility, lead engineer David Park supervised the construction of humanity's true first interstellar vessel. Unlike the Horizon, which was built to be seen, this ship was built to transcend. The vessel didn't look like much, a smooth, dark sphere about 300 meters in diameter. No obvious engines, no weapons ports, no windows. Its surface seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "The Nexus is almost ready," David reported as James and Walker approached. "We've integrated the 7D fold drive with the reality anchors. The quantum processors can calculate safe fold patterns across infinite probability spaces." Walker ran her hand along the ship's surface. It felt like touching solid shadow. "And the crew?" "Selected and trained," David confirmed. "Captain Marcus Black has been preparing them in secret for 2 years. They're ready." Back in the main lab, James gathered his senior staff. The mood was tense but determined. "For 15 years," he began, "we've let the galaxy think we're primitives struggling with basic physics. Every failed experiment we've publicized, every request for help we've made, every humble admission of our limitations, all of it has been theater." He gestured to the displays showing their true capabilities. "While they've been laughing, we've been learning." Their arrogance blinded them. They never questioned why a species that split the atom and reached their moon would struggle with simple space folding. Dr. Lisa Reeves, the project psychologist, added, "Human nature is our greatest asset. They expect us to think like them, to develop like them. But humans are chaotic, unpredictable. We don't follow the standard progression." "The quantum breakthrough happened by accident," Ananya interjected. "A calculation error that should have failed instead opened a door to 7-dimensional space. No other species would have pursued it. It violates their understanding of physics." James nodded. "That's why they'll never see this coming." In the depths of the Pacific Ocean, another secret facility housed backup systems for Project Transcendence. Earth's leadership had learned from history, never put all your eggs in one basket. President Maria Costa connected via quantum-encrypted communication. Her image flickered into existence in the Mount Fuji lab. "Dr. Chen," she said, "I've reviewed your report. The Assembly's containment plans are worse than we thought. They're not just planning to lock us in. They want to control our development, decide what technologies we're allowed to pursue. They see us as children playing with dangerous toys." James replied bitterly. The president's expression hardened. "Then it's time to show them we're not children. Activate Phase 2. Phase 2 was the rapid deployment of quantum sensors throughout Earth's solar system. Disguised as routine maintenance to aging satellites, these sensors would create a detection grid capable of tracking ships operating in dimensions humans supposedly didn't understand. Within hours, the grid was active. Almost immediately, it detected something disturbing. "We're being watched," reported sensor specialist Tom Bradley. "I'm reading 17 cloaked vessels in high Earth orbit. They're using 5D phase shifting, completely invisible to conventional sensors, preparing some kind of containment field." General Walker's face darkened. "They're going to cage us without even telling us. So much for their enlightened civilization." In the training center, Captain Marcus Black put his crew through final preparations. Unlike traditional astronauts, his team had been selected for their ability to think in multiple dimensions simultaneously. "Remember," he told them, "when we activate the 7D drive, you'll experience reality fragmentation. You'll see multiple versions of yourself, multiple possible outcomes. Stay focused on your anchor point, your core self." Lieutenant Emma Taylor, the youngest crew member at just 25, raised her hand. "What happens if we lose our anchor?" Marcus's expression was serious. "Then you risk spreading your consciousness across infinite realities. That's why we train. That's why we're careful." Back in the main lab, Maya Patel underwent another dimensional shift test. This time, they pushed further. "Initiating 7-dimensional phase," announced the technician. "Dimensional barriers lowering." Maya closed her eyes as reality blurred around her. For a moment, she existed everywhere and nowhere. She could see the lab, but also the mountain above, the city beyond, the planet, the solar system. Her consciousness expanded across probability fields. "I can see them," she gasped. "The Watchers. They're afraid. They don't understand our quantum signature. It doesn't match their models." James leaned forward. "What else do you see?" "Possibilities. Infinite paths forward. In some, Earth remains caged. In others," she smiled, "in others, we change everything." The test concluded, and Maya returned to singular existence. The data they'd collected was invaluable. Proof that human consciousness could navigate 7-dimensional space without fragmenting. As the Earth crew endured mockery at the assembly station, these hidden facilities worked tirelessly. Scientists pushed the boundaries of reality itself. Engineers built technologies that shouldn't exist. Soldiers trained for combat in dimensions their enemies couldn't perceive. The Nexus neared completion. In just weeks, humanity would reveal its true capabilities. The galaxy thought they were dealing with primitives who had barely learned to fold space. They were wrong. The countdown to revelation had begun. Soon, the laughter would stop, replaced by something else entirely: respect, fear, or perhaps understanding that humans were unlike any species the galaxy had encountered before. In his private office, James Chen looked at a photo of his daughter, taken just before he disappeared into this secret world. She thought he was working on civilian space technology. She had no idea her father was preparing to change the course of human history. "Soon, sweetheart," he whispered. "Soon, you'll inherit a galaxy where humans stand as equals, or perhaps something more." The time for hiding was almost over. Earth's true power would soon be unleashed.